Welcome, ladies and gents, to another BTNeanderthal video. Today, we are covering the Project Diablo 2 announcement and the news that comes with. So, first thing is first, as you can see, right over there, we have the release date of the new season. We have the closed beta start as well. March 12th, Friday at like 1 p.m. EST, which is my time, or 10 a.m. PST, which is what's listed. Closed beta is on the 3rd. Senpai says we can stream Season 2 beta. There we go. What's new with Season 2? So there's actually a lot of things that we're going to mention here. We have crafting, we have mechanical changes, we have new content, all these different things. First things first though, we're going to cover crafting. So crafting is getting a huge overhaul, and honestly, it's gonna make runewords, a run for their money. Runewords are really gonna be a choice now between like having the ability to craft while you're playing through the game, versus go farm countess for runes and try to get bases and all that stuff. So we'll see how that actually turns out, as far as the meta and the speedrunning techniques, or the, fresh character, all that stuff. But as an example, we can now craft FCR, up to 20 FCR. I think he said it was static. I'm not sure if it's static, but like 20 FCR on helmets. Crafting 20 FCR on helmets is absolutely insane. Think about druid pelts and barb helms with all the skills that they come with. That is really good. Obviously, you can't do circlets because, it doesn't qualify as a helmet, and also like it would be super broken. So here's a couple examples of the crafting. We have on the left here, we have a light plate that is safety crafted, and on the right, we have a caster craft in a shield. So something that you might notice right off the bat here, we have 10 to 20% varying roll, so up to 20% on the safety craft for armor on physical damage reduction. That is so much damage reduction. So insta tank armor right there on the left side. Crafts are so much stronger. Every single one of them is getting like reworked in a pretty big way here. On the right side, we're seeing cast rate, which I believe goes from 15 to 25, and then in addition, it gives increased chance of blocking. Now, this allows for a lot of different options, whether it's paladin or necromancer shields and staff mods and various things like that. But very good examples. It'll just show you how much they have actually changed, like being able to get FCR through a craft and being able to get PDR through a craft like that is very strong. Hit power now has 10 to 20% target minus target defense, which is very good on weapons, which can help you out through the early game stages and the nightmare stage, the late normal stage, as well as a hit power amulet grants 150 to 250 attack rating. And those numbers are actually very large and really will help you out in the early game before you get some more like gear. So if you actually want to start as a melee, that's much more of an option now. And you might like ask, it's like, well, what happens? Like, you can't really craft unless you have P gems, right? So that situation has actually been solved with normal Act 4. We're going to start dropping flawless gems in normal Act 4 and beyond. So that solves a lot of the issues with not being able to craft really or take advantage of the things when you need to take advantage of them. Now you can farm and get your gems, and instead of countess farming for runewords, we'll be farming and hoping that we'll get gems for crafting, so you don't have to like perma grind LK and gem shrines. They can still be useful, but you don't have to only do that pretty much, which is great. It's great news. So like I said, there's caster weapon with 1 to skills and FCR on it as well, which makes Spirit kind of a run for its money. Like, there's just so many things. Crafting is getting a huge rework, and I'm excited to see how that changes the meta, especially in comparison with rune words and uniques and slamming and all this stuff. It's really cool. On to the next thing that I want to bring up, which is Whirlwind and the Martial Arts Assassin and FOH Paladin, just mechanical changes. So Whirlwind is getting a rework from Project Diablo 2 Season 1. Now, it's only going to hit 1 monster, okay? And it's going to swing slower, I believe. But now does splash damage. As you can see, there's splash damage and it procs. So honestly, Whirlwind looks pretty sick. So it's something that I actually might try. I've never been a huge fan of Whirlwind, but I think that with this change, I honestly might like it. I think that it's going to be a really good change. I think that it'll be a lot of fun to try out. And then Martial Arts Assassin has seen a huge rework. It's very difficult for me to explain, so I might get like a little clip to show you guys. And then this is how the Martial Arts Assassin has been worded, and I'll show a couple of examples here. Charges no longer deplete from anything besides finishers and now behave differently and function more like stages, meaning that you can have up to 3 charges at a time and each charge casts the stage. So let's take a look at this actually happening. So right now, stage 1, that's stage 1 that he just applied. Now he has 1 orb. Stage 2, he just did Blades of Ice. And now he has 3 orbs around him, but the 2 orbs are from the Blades of Ice and the 1 orb is from Cobra Strike. And now, attacking with Cobra Strike again, all of them are gone. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's going to be a certain pace depending on your attack speed that you're going to have to get a feel for. But it's very cool. This playstyle allows you to stick to 1 skill or weave skills to create combo strings. As we saw earlier, there's a combo between Blades of Ice and Cobra Strike that was displayed, creating the martial arts feel. Finishers will now cast all of the charges you have available, so like the ones that you see on screen. So, for example, we have 2 orbs here, 2 Blades of Ice, and 1 tier, or stage 1 Cobra Strike. Now, instead of just seeing the Plague, or the, like, stage 3 Cobra Strike, if he used the finisher there, you would have seen Blades of Ice, stage 2. You would have seen, also, stage 1 of Cobra Strike. So, like I said, finishers will now cast all of the charges you have available. Every stage at once, essentially, dumping your charges and rewarding you with a mix of skills. FOH. So, Fist of Heavens on the Paladin now hits all targets. I actually wasn't aware that it didn't before, but I don't like FOH. It's probably my least favorite skill in the entire game, just because of the targeting and all that stuff. So I didn't know that before, but now it does. For all you guys asking, now it does. For all the people that care about that, it hits all targets. As we talked about earlier, here are some little quick previews of the maps that have been showed. We got like this Worldstone one. We had like a Great Marsh looking area, flare jungle area thing. We have like a Frigid Plateau, Frigid Highlands, you know, area plateau mix. And a lot of these are community made maps, so good job community. That's absolutely excellent. Taking a lot of weight off of Senpai's shoulders, which is awesome. And also giving community, like, you know, a gift of new maps to play on And that's really cool. So I appreciate that. Big shout out to everybody who's been working on maps and stuff like that. So good job, guys. The other thing, and a lot of them look really cool. We saw like a fortress map, a couple different ones. We saw like a Worldstone one. We saw like a Frozen Tundra looking map. We saw another like Act 5 Bloody Foothills slash Frigid Highlands map layout looking thing. There's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff coming. I really like the way they look. As far as Declone goes, Declone now has a couple things. So, well, first, it's going to be seeing some balance changes. It's going to see some fight balance changes. It's going to still be the same Declone. There are 5 new items that can drop from Diablo clone, and these are extremely rare, rarer than Tyrell's Might type of rare. So like we might be lucky to see 1 or 2 from like a season or something like that. We'll see how it all goes. They're gonna be extremely lucky or rare, and they'll be lucky if they get them. But the special thing about these items is they're very unique for their slots. For example, the only thing that's been leaked to us is the fact that the boots, because there's boots, there's like an armor, a helmet, boots, so there's a sword, and then like a claw, it looked like, I believe. But the boots have faster cast rate on them, and those, as you may know, are the only boots in the game that have faster cast rate on them. Senpai said that they're not going to be broken, but like broken strong, like these new items, but they will be something you wear if you get them. They also have variables, but even the worst variation of these items is still something that would be very good and you'd want to use. So that's basically all we got about them. Other things, which is massive, and this also includes like crafting, and it kind of ties a little bit into the crafting, is weapon bases are different. Now, what do I mean about that? So remember in season 1, like every item that you find has like melee splash on it. Basically every melee weapon has melee splash. Well, now, for example, there's changes that he's doing that are much bigger. And these changes include things like daggers with 20% deadly strike on them as just a default stat. So let that sit for a second. Daggers have deadly strike now, 20% as a default stat. Crossbows have 10% physical pierce. Weapons like spears have faster IS now as well, so they're just faster in general. And weapon range of items of these bases have been normalized. Our Frozen Orb now has no cooldown and it's now on lightning frames. That's something that's really cool. Some of the bases were changed. Some bugs were fixed. For example, now we get 6-socket Amazon weapons and bows. So that's really cool. Things like attack speed, like we mentioned earlier. All exceptional weapon bases now deal 15% more damage. An example would be dimensional blades. And there's durability changes and various like weapon types have now been balanced out a little bit more in comparison to some of the other weapon types. And I'll put a link in the description for this below. This is on Reddit. It's posted from Project Diablo 2. So, but some of the other things I wanted to mention here too are they removed the move speed debuff auto mod from medium and heavy armors. Does that mean I feel like that means that now there is no movement debuff or anything slow you down. Very exciting stuff. Also, like the fact that this really affects the crafting scene too, like the ability to use, maybe play a fence on or use a crossbow where you really couldn't have before. Stuff like that. Overall, bug fixes are going to happen. I heard Senpai say that plus damage is going to work for traps. Like if you're using a facet and a claw, plus damage is going to work, but not minus or pierce is going to work, at least yet. I think it's like hard-coded and they didn't get around to it still, but they got the plus damage. Another thing is dungeons. Dungeons, he said, are planned to be a thing, but he didn't necessarily say that they're going to be ready at launch. He said right now his dev team is pretty small, that it's doing the hard coding and stuff like that, which is again part of the reason why they didn't get the fire pierce on traps, or elemental pierce on traps, I should say. So those are things to be said. Senpai said the whole ladder. Okay, every single ladder, he's going to look over every single thing and do balance changes according to that. So if there's a skill that you're thinking of, for me, it's Leap Attack. For some people, it's Ice Barrage. I know that was mentioned earlier. And various other skills. They have been reviewed. So that's good news. There's hope for your skills that you're thinking of. I believe that's all the hard facts and stuff. Now we're going to get into a little bit of speculation and what I think might be happening. Holy Bolt, as just brought up in chat. Holy Bolt currently shotguns. It was not their original intention for Holy Bolt to shotgun. However, they left it in the game, and it turned out to be very powerful, or very OP. But I was talking with some of the devs probably a month and a half ago, and they said that honestly they're kind of okay with the damage, and I'm actually kind of okay with the damage, but hear me out, and this is the reason why. The damage itself is actually okay, but only I'd say in the context of it using an aura to deal that damage. For example, like Hammerden with Concentration Aura, and Blessed Hammer being having buffed damage from that Concentration Aura. Now, the thing that makes the Holy Bolt Paladin super OP is not only it does good damage by itself, you don't even have to have an aura to do that. When you have an aura, for example, like Salvation, Redemption, a specific elemental resistance, it not only, you do damage and heal your team with the Holy Bolt, you are also getting the benefits of all these auras, and that's what makes it really OP. That's what makes it really OP. So it's possible that they'll keep the shotgun. It's also possible that they'll get rid of the shotgun, but ultimately, as you might have seen in maps, it's actually not the strongest thing or strongest clear in maps. It's very strong with single target in certain scenarios, yes, and all that stuff. Plus it heals, plus you can have an aura. That's why it's so broken and strong right now. So that's just speculation. We'll see how it goes. The other thing, which is kind of related to it, is defensive auras. I feel like defensive auras are going to be touched. I feel like they're going to be nerfed. If Senpai does not nerf them, I would be very surprised. That is where a lot of the damage issues are actually stemming from with balancing in the game, is as soon as you have an element and you put on one of those auras, it stacks damage like an incredible amount of damage. Antidotes, thawing potion, and stamina potions all going onto your belt. So, and that's what I mean by that is like you drop an antidote on the map, it'll go in your belt if you have an open slot rather than in your inventory. So it'll work like all other potions in the game. I'm very excited about that because, like, if say you're playing a tier 1 map, antidotes drop on the ground all the time if you don't have them filtered out, and you get hit with poison, it's gonna go in there, you can just drink it real quick. I really like that a lot. So, same thing with thawing potion. Say you don't have Canopy Frozen, thawing potion drops on the ground. You can just instantly into the belt, drink it up, good to go. You don't have to open up your inventory, then hover, then right click. Big change. Really like that a lot. So, that We'll see how like rune word stacking turns out to be. I think honestly, rune word stacking is fine. I know that like Dragon Paladin is super OP, but I feel like that's just purely because defensive auras are so strong right now. We'll see how that goes. Again, I will try to be covering all the stuff as it's released. This is kind of just what has been presented to us and what we know with the launch. Again, guys, March 12th, 10 a.m. PST or 1 p.m. EST, which is my time, and then is the ladder reset. And then on March 3rd, it's like a little bit earlier than that, there's going to be the closed beta, and it is confirmed that you can stream the closed beta, which I will be streaming the closed beta, and we'll be gathering as much information as we can, so that way, you know, when the patch notes come out or all that stuff, we'll have an idea on what is actually good for Season 2. Thank you all for watching. Much love. You guys are beasts.